Hi folks, I'm the Bald Guy, and these are Bald Guy Basics. Today I'm going to do a product review of something that I find to be to have wide variety of applications that is really nice. It's a lubricant, and the label is coming off, but it's TactiLube, T-A-C-T-I-L-U-B-E. And I'm going to keep this elsewhere, but it's a very small bottle, but it is an absolute excellent lubrication that you can use a very small amount. Now, to demonstrate its usefulness, and I have not applied a single bit of it to these, my tools here in the box here, even out, I went out to the tractor looking for a tool that was kind of rusted and gummed up, and I put enough lubrication on most of that stuff that I could not find something to demonstrate this on. So I actually had to go down to the lawnmower shed where I keep some spare tools. You know, when I'm out working on the lawnmower, it's nice to be able to grab a set of pliers. And I found 3 sets of pliers. And it's not that they're froze up, but you know, it's not like they're going to open up on their own. These are really stiff, and then I've got a set of cutters that's in the same condition. In the middle here, they're free, but when you get to the edge, they're tight. And here's a pair of lineman's cutters that I have had forever. These are Fuller's. I'll tell you how long I've had them. Look at the rubber handles are worn completely off. The TactiLube, which, by the way, if you want to know the end of the story and not have to watch the whole video, well, shame on you. Are you not entertained? TactiLube is generally found at a sporting goods store. I used to work at a gun shop many years ago, and when I go by and visit, I see the products. So this size bottle, I think it was $7.99 retail. I bought it more than a year ago, so that might have changed a little bit. But it comes with its own little lid here. And I want you to notice the applicator. It's the size, it's bigger than a needle, but it's about the size of a pencil lead. So let's start with this one. And the reason I'm starting with this one, because it shows that same grip all the way across. It's dragging all the way across. If I were using WD-40, I would spray this thing and soak it. I'm going to put a single dot that you may not even be able to see on the camera. I'll try to show it to you. You see that dot there? And the reason I tried to get it there quick is because, hey, it's already soaked in. That's one dot on one side of the hinge. A decent sized dot on the other side of the hinge. And this thing is made together. It's the hinge is a circle within a circle, and it moves like that. So I am going to put it's a dot that I stretched out. I'm going to do that on both sides. And there you can see what it is. It's not very much. I need to rotate it just to make sure the light allows you to see it. Now, with those small applications, it's not so loose that it can fall by gravity, but I can tell you it's a tremendous difference. And the nice thing about it is I have put so little on here. On the hinges here, I'm not going to have to wipe a bit off. I touch it here, and actually I'll spread it around, which is really nice. The rust is coming off. It's getting softer and softer. It's a great product for specific application. Now, you look at these bad boys. These things, at some point, they were lost and laid in the outdoors for quite some time. And I found them. They were not originally mine. And I have hit them with a wire brush, with the grinder. I put a wire wheel on the grinder. But I'm going to spread a little more on this one. Just go all the way around And then I'm going to put it here where it can go under there. And then I'm going to put some on this side. And you can tell immediately it's better. You can put some in the middle here too. If you are a handy person, handyman or handy woman, if you're an outdoorsman, which means hunting, fishing, gardening, and you have small tools like this, golly, that you just can't, it's all but loose enough for gravity, which it'll move some. I cheated there. I saw it, and you did too. But, oh, goodness, splinter. Oh, don't know what that splinter is, if it's wood or metal. I suspect it's metal. Boy, it's holding on like metal. There we go. I don't know if you can see that there. But it's a great advantage in your toolbox. And I'm going to do this last one here in front of you. When you spray something with WD-40, and I'm putting a little more on this one because we're dealing with a fair bit of rust. But just, I'm putting big drops down. That one's not going the direction I want it to. There we go. And put a little back here. Now you can see there, or well, I hope you can see. I've not put a ton of this. I've just put it right on the joints, and it is freed up tremendously. Now I may go back, you see all of the rust and corrosion on these. I'll go back with something perhaps like a WD-40, because it does a pretty good job. In fact, I've got some here. It does a pretty good job of dealing with corrosion. See how quickly that came off? But this stuff really, really impresses me with how good it is to I guess it would fall into the category of a penetrating oil, and penetrating oils are interesting. They are great for bolts that are stuck or anything else, hinges that are stuck. They really get in there far. But when I worked at the shop, at the gun shop, you'd have a guy that came in and they would lubricate the adjustment knobs on a scope. And then maybe even the eyepiece has a big screw-on piece on the front and the back, the shade, and they would put some penetrating oil on those things, and the next thing you know, the oil is actually inside the scope. Why? Because it penetrates. So penetrating oil isn't the cure-all for every ailment, but for tools like this, my goodness, this is just a feather-light touch moves this, and it makes it not brand new, but much closer to it. This one right at the edge has some tightness, but I'll guess, this is a Chinese tool, by the way. I'll just about bet, I'm sorry, not Chinese, it's Taiwanese. I will bet you that it was tight at the edge when it was new. This, I would guess, is Chinese. And if you look inside the jaws here at the joint, there's a lot of rust in this. So, you know, I can treat that with WD-40. But I have found that this stuff really works well because you can use such a small amount. It is meant, it's a firearm lubricant, so it's meant for the actions of whether it's a pistol or a rifle or a shotgun, any moving action. The advantage of being able to use such a very small drop, the more oil you put on a firearm and anything else, the more it's likely to collect trash. In a firearm, it would be burned powder. In places with tools like this, sawdust, metal filings, and all will cling to the oil. When you use less oil, you have less chance of debris sticking. So TactiLube, a really nice product to have, and it takes up such small space. And I love the little silicone lid, which has its own little lanyard there, keeps it in place. And you may not be able to see it, but I've had it for a year and I've tried it on everything. And my bottle is just barely below the curvature here. It's right there on my thumbnail is the level of this thing. So it'll last you a long, long time. You don't have to worry about overspray and the issues that can happen with that, the staining. You can apply it with that small applicator exactly where you need it. And it's a pretty nice thing to have. Now, I get nothing from TactiLube. I am not a paid endorser. And that being said, there are other similar products on the market. I've noticed more and more are coming out, but they're kind of following in the vein of this very product. So if you have a need for some precise lubrication, I would recommend one of these for a number of reasons, most of which I have just shown you here. Follow us on Facebook if you like. Leave us a like. I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope you'll share the videos. And I'll see you next time.